Welcome to the Miracle You, guiding you on the journey towards finding passion and purpose, and how to discover, create, and live a life by your design. Whether your success has been plentiful or your missed opportunities have been overwhelming, we can help you become a more empowered, masterful person and show you how to share your gift with the world. It's time to inspire change from within with the host of the Miracle You, Vince Kramer.
Hello, imagination. I'm Vince Kramer, your host, and welcome to the Miracle You, where you learn about the magic of living your life by finding the example in real life. Over the years on this podcast, I've shared with you many times the importance of us realizing that we are energy. And as energy, if we can understand the universal laws, understand the concepts of quantum physics, we'll open ourselves up to creating the life that we're meant to live. By understanding the law of attraction and realizing that like attracts like, we learn that we need to move into the vibration of what we want. And when we move into the vibration of what we want, we're truly moving into the thoughts and feelings that are in alignment with what it is that we want. The other thing that's extremely important is for us to realize exactly what it is we want, not what we think we should want, not what we've been told that we should want, not even what we think we want based on what we see around us by what other people are experiencing, but really truly knowing what we want. We believe in Imagine Miracles that comes from knowing who you are, knowing why you're here, and knowing what brings the joy into your life to help you live at a higher vibration continuously. I'm with Melisa Caprio today. Melisa is a creator, photographer, radio host, and the author of Postcards to the Universe, Harness the Universe's Power, and Manifest Your Dreams. She's inviting people from around the world to participate in this movement by using photography, art, personal wishes, and desires, and sending them out into the universe via a postcard. She guides her clients on how to create a unique manifesting postcard for added effect on the power of creative intention. Melisa has her own weekly show titled Postcards to the Universe with Melisa, Creating the Life You Crave, on Om Times Radio, where she interviews spiritual trailblazers. Melisa, are you ready to share the miracle of you with the imagination?
Yes, definitely. Thank you, Vince, for having me. I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
I love the power of intent and intention. So I can't wait till we dive in so you can share with the imagination all that you know about how to bring this manifested life that we're meant to live to the world. So I appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
Not a whole lot of information in that short bio. Could you share a little bit more about you and what you're doing, Melisa?
Sure. So first off, my background is in photography. I'm a fine artist. That's my love, fine art. And I, sort of stumbled into what manifestation and the law of attraction, of course, after having a painful event happen and me asking, why did that happen to me? Look, I'm a good person, kind of thing. And then I discovered how we co-create with the universe, and that sort of planted a seed in my soul, really, about, what does that mean? Well, what does that look like? And being a creative person and an artist, I felt called and inspired to figure out how I can consciously co-create with the universe in a creative way to bring what I want into my life instead of what I don't want into my life, which I think we do very unconsciously. Yeah.
We're not very conscious of our thoughts and how we're using those to create, for sure. You said that you said to yourself, why did that happen? I'm a good person. I know we all get to this place that we don't understand why bad things, if you will, happen to good people. Could you share that wake up with us?
Sure, sure. So I had pretty much the dream job. I was living in the Florida Keys. I tell this story all the time. I've told it in my book, and I was photographing dolphins, working with developmentally disabled kids, doing therapy. I have a developmentally disabled sister, and that's sort of how it got me into the job. And I lived in the Keys, and I photographed 7 years. I got to work with dolphins every day, and it was the most amazing experience. And at the time I was married, I got married, and we had a cute little house down there. And literally, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this, I mean, there's things that led up to it, but in a 30-day process, the marriage officially ended, the relationship ended, the job was ended, and I was moving. So that was a 3-punch in a very short period of time. So I was devastated. Just the relationship alone, of course, was devastating. But then the leaving this job that I just loved, it was ending anyway. So the universe was conspiring for me to move on. The job was ending anyway. And the relationship, obviously the troubles were there, and that was coming to, an end. But when it all hits you at once, it's hard. So I moved back to South Florida, where I grew up, and to kind of cocoon myself with family and friends. And that's when that was when I got the wake up call and started asking the questions. I don't understand. Why is this happening? Why am I getting hit with all of this at once? What does this mean? What am I going to do now? What am I going to do for my income? I loved what I did. And so I started searching for answers, and reading has always been a big thing of mine. I'm a huge reader, and I lost myself in books, and I started to read more of things by Louise Hay, about how you can heal your life, and Wayne Dyer. And that's kind of what introduced me into this whole concept. And then one night, and this is a true story, just a little back thing. So as a photographer, I always been fascinated with people's handwriting and photographing cards and letters. And I've always loved to do that as like a little side thing. And one night as I was falling asleep, after I had learned about the law of attraction and more and about manifestation, I heard very clearly in my mind, in my head, postcards to the universe. And I didn't know what it was or why I heard it, but I knew it was important. I just felt it. And so I got up, it was like 1 a.m, and I went on GoDaddy and I bought the domain name. And I didn't know why, but I knew I had to do it. And it sat for a year. And no coincidences, because I don't believe in coincidences anymore. I had met a woman who was teaching a law of attraction course. And I took the course, and then I met somebody else that helped me design my website and sort of helped me get to what postcards was the universe is supposed to be. And so that was my aha. And then everything shifted from there. Of course, I'm telling the story quickly, but this is a long process. You know how that works, right? It doesn't just always happen overnight, right?
Share with us, how long was that process for you?
Well, it was from the moment I heard it to the moment that I trademarked it and had my first website was a year. Okay. And then I had it, and I had it down, and I was asking people to make manifesting postcards. I still hadn't decided to write a book yet, and I wasn't on the radio yet. So that took another, it started with me teaching people how to do manifesting postcards. I would do the live workshops. I would blog about them. And I still hadn't even considered a radio yet. And one day I took a how to write a book proposal course, just because I was called to do so. And I met all these amazing people. And I said, you know what? I'm going to compile a bunch of manifesting stories with photographs that I took of people's postcards next to their story when their manifestation becomes a reality. And so the book was born. So I would say a good 5 years over all of the, until I got then I, I met somebody who said, you would be great on radio. Maybe you should do a radio show. And then it just kind of snowballed, from there. So, yeah.
It's amazing how the universe unfolds everything in front of us as we're ready for it. What could you share? Everybody's familiar with the law of attraction. Well, most, I wouldn't say everybody, but most people are familiar with the law of attraction. Could you explain, as you see it, what the manifestation process is?
Sure. So basically, the law of attraction means that we attract, we magnetize energetically that which we put our focus on and where our energy is. So that's why sometimes, the best way to explain it is like, let's say you wake up on the wrong side of the bed and you're really grumpy that day, and you'll find that day, like everything that could go wrong goes wrong, right? Because that's where you are. You're in a negative, you're in a lower vibration. So you're attracting more of those kind of things. So what I try to do is be super conscious of where my energetic vibration is in my body and my mind, and so that I can bring those higher vibrating things into my life, which is joy and abundance and love and relationships and good health. And it takes practice. I practice being super conscious of my thoughts. I practice, watching how I'm feeling. It's very much about how we're feeling. It's not just what we're thinking, because so much of our thinking is unconscious. It's how we're feeling. But the way you talk to yourself, you can change how you feel, right? So we seem to attract that where we are. And you notice it more and more the more you practice it, right? You'll say something and it'll just happen, and you're like, oh my God, I was just talking about that, or I was just thinking about that. You attracted that. We don't realize that we are doing that. We are doing that all the time. Mm-hmm.
And we're amazing manifestors. We just aren't necessarily aware of what we're manifesting at the time.
Exactly. And usually we think, what do? Humans, we think about all our problems, right? So we focus on our problems, and that keeps us in that loop of more and more problems. And we want to shift that, we want to work to shift that. And I do it through creativity.
And at Imagine Miracles, we talk a lot about manifesting, materializing. One of the things that I don't think people realize, and I know you can talk to this, because you mentioned it in a way just now. We seem to attract what we don't want because we put our attention on that.
Right.
So how do people find what they really do want?
Right. Well, that's a really good question. And I'll tell you, this is an interesting thing. So when I would do a workshop, I haven't done any physical workshops since the pandemic, and I'm looking forward to going back to doing those because they're so much fun. I'll ask people, what is it that you want? And people will say, oh, I want to be happy. Okay, great. Well, what does happiness look like to you? And that's where a lot of people get stumped. Of course, we all want to be happy. Of course, we all want joy, but not everybody is even aware of what will make them happy. So I always ask people, and I do in the book, I have in my book writing exercises to help us get clear about what is it that we want. First, let's decide that. Is it your health needs to change for you to be happy? Is it a relationship you're in maybe is unhealthy and toxic? Maybe you need to leave that relationship. Is it maybe where you live is no longer working, or your job is no longer working? So once you figure that out, then we can start thinking and feeling our way into what we want coming in. So it's getting super clear. A lot of us are not clear. We just say, oh, I want to be happy. Well, what'll make you happy? I don't know. I just want to be happy. Well, let's figure out what's going to make you happy, because we're all very different. Some people, happiness is volunteering at an animal shelter. That brings them so much joy. And somebody else, that might not be. And maybe, well, a high powered position as I don't know, a CEO and making, $1 million a year is what brings them happiness. And there's no wrong answer. It's whatever works for you.
So we're in the manifestation, we're in the creation mode. Talk to us about how you align your thoughts and feelings to what you want.
Okay, so the way I do it is, since I'm a visual person, not everybody is, but I am a visual person. I use images to help me visualize. And that's where the postcards sort of were created. Like, I'm sure many of your listeners probably are very aware of vision boards, right? And, especially in the new year, people make their vision board about what they want to bring in. So with the postcards, I ask people to get, just kind of scale down and pick one thing at a time. And let's create a manifesting postcard and put all your energy and feel what it would feel like to have that you want, whether it's a certain vacation, new relationships, a healing, and put that. But so I use, visualization is big in what I do, and gratitude. Gratitude is a huge, powerful tool in manifesting, of being grateful for what we already have, because, and you have to really feel grateful for it. You can't just say, oh yeah, I'm grateful, I have a nice bed to sleep in. You have to tap into, wow, I mean, my bed is wonderful. I love my house. I love, and you feel that, and that's what brings more of that. And then you're raising your vibration. And so you're bringing more of that into your life. So that's the way that I do it.
But it's very important what Melisa said. And I want the imagination to kind of remember back to different times we've talked about this on the podcast. When we're talking about feelings and thoughts have to be aligned with what we want, or at least be at the vibration of what we want, because that's the only way we're going to attract exactly what we want into the world. And what a wonderful thing that you just shared with us, because when it comes to feelings, gratitude is one of the highest vibrational emotions that you can have. So you're definitely lining yourself up with that. And I think you shared something else, Melisa, that's really important to emphasize. You ask people to concentrate on one thing, because our thoughts, if they wander around, what does the universe provide us?
Right, exactly.
So let me ask you this. In the US, and the world as a whole, really, but in the US for sure, we're used to pretty fast gratification.
Right.
And if we don't get it right away, the tendency is for us to look for the next thing.
Right.
So how do you get people to concentrate on one thing? And what would you suggest for them to stay in that thought feeling process for what they want?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I have noticed, and that that's why I love the postcard so much, is that, do you remember being a kid, play? Right? Play is such a high vibration, right? We play. That's why kids are master manifestors. They say something and it comes right to them, because they're not worried about the hows and the what ifs and the, how am I going to get that? I got to pay this mortgage. They don't have any of that, right? They're just in it. So the postcards, when I get people first out of their adult mind, and once they get into creating their postcard, they're in it. They're like a little kid again. They're getting excited by finding their pictures that they want. And oh my God, I always wanted to go on a safari. Oh, look at this picture. And they feel it and they see themselves doing it. And that's what they're tapping into. So I tell them, okay, so after they do their postcard and they have to either leave it with me or send it to me, which is really hard for people to do, take a picture of it, put it somewhere that you'll see it. It could be your phone screensaver. It could be on your refrigerator, someplace that you'll see it all the time. I did mine for my book to get my book published on my gallery wall. So I saw it all the time, because I really wanted my book. And I tell people to just every time they see it, or at least maybe once a day, only a minute, it could just be 1 minute, try to tap into what it would feel like if that became your reality. Close your eyes, feel it. Just feel it. Imagine it. If it's a new relationship, imagine your new partner and what you would do together. If it's a new job, imagine what that would open up to you. If it's a new house, imagine how you would feel in your new home if that's what you're doing that. And if you can just do that every time you see it, at least once or twice a day for a minute at a time, you're going to be amazed at how these little things start coming to you. You're going to meet somebody who's going to, tell you about this job or going to introduce you to your new relationship. That's just the way it happens. Yeah.
Well, yeah, when we're in our conscious mind,
Mhm.
we are able to shift our energy, shift that electromagnetic energy that we're sending out to the universe in a way that supports us in bringing things in. What happens or what can we do, I guess would be the best question. We move out of being conscious. We move into the subconscious, something's going on, and our thoughts then move to, well, I don't have what I want yet. How do we move beyond that?
Right. So you're going to have that a lot. You're going to say, where is it? I don't have it. Or, you have to, it's like working a muscle. It's like when you work out, if you want to change your body, you have to work out on a regular basis, not just one time, right? So it's the same thing with your brain. You have to constantly talk to yourself and remind yourself that when you catch yourself saying those things, you stop it. Tell yourself to stop, stop. I'm not going to go there. And you're going to notice that you'll do it less and less the more you talk to yourself and you stop it, and stop talking about your problems. Stop talking about your problems with people. That's what we do. We gossip, we talk about our problems, we go over our problems, we go over and over and over and over and over it, and we're perpetuating it. Stop complaining. Try stop complaining just for a week. And you're going to be amazed at how much you complain, because you don't even realize how much you complain. So you can set yourself up with these little tests so you can start to catch your mind to where you are, and those are the little tricks of what I do to help me. And I'm still a work in progress, but I'm a lot better now than when I first started. But I have to practice. It's a practice. And some days I'm not as good as other days.
Yeah, it all depends. It all depends on what takes us out of the present moment, what puts us into that space where we might drop into our subconscious. The interesting thing about that is, it's the tendency of falling back into the subconscious and telling that story over and over again of why I want this, and why I don't have it, and why it isn't here yet. I want the imagination to think about this. If you tell a story 5 or 6 times and you're not putting yourself moment in moment in moment into your postcard, into what you want, you're actually probably giving the universe five times why it isn't going to work or why it isn't in your life, instead of giving it, hey, this is what I want to bring into my life. Yeah.
And you can say, every time you catch yourself saying, well, this isn't happening, you can stop yourself and say, well, what if I get this? What if I meet this person? What if I get that job? What if? So you're not saying necessarily like it's here, because some people can't say it in the declaration, like the I am or I have, because they don't feel it, right? They can't feel it. But you can say, what if I have this new job? You can feel that. What if you do? What would that look like? So you can start talking to yourself in that way every time you say, well, why don't I have it, or it hasn't come yet? Well, what if it's coming in 3 months? Like, what's gonna, like, you can do stuff like that to yourself. And the more you do it, the easier it is. Like I said, it's like you're working, and it's a workout. You're working out your spiritual muscles in your mind. Yeah.
That was extremely powerful in the fact that we don't think about, if we're not careful, we say we're this or we're that, and internally we don't believe it. And then the vibrations don't match up. So I think that was so powerful what you just shared there. What if is a lot different than, well, I am already this. And your ego personalities and your body's telling you, no, we're not. You're lying to us, type of thing. That was amazing. Could you share some examples of what people have created in their life, what they've manifested through the postcards?
Oh God, yeah, sure. So there's 30 stories in my book. One is mine, and mine was about getting a publisher, which was great because I really wanted to be traditionally published. So that was my story. But I have stories of people who have manifested new relationships, people who have manifested new trips. I have someone who manifested her new house. People have manifested their businesses. One person manifested healing an old broken heart with closure in an old relationship that was holding her back in her current relationship. Even though she was happy, there was still issues, and she felt this called to create a postcard around healing her broken heart. And it just so happened the day she sent the postcard, and she held on to it for a long time. And I kept asking her, I'm like, because I knew she made it. I said, well, have you sent it yet? I haven't gotten it. And she's like, no. And she wasn't ready to let it go. And the day she let it go, the person who hurt her reached out and apologized when she finally let it go, so like there's incredible stories like that. I have one woman who manifested this tiny little town in Spain to do flamenco dancing. That's what she wanted to do. And she sent me a postcard of this town, and she ended up going there a year after that, not knowing. So there's so many. I have so many, and I love to get them. So for anybody who's listening, please send me more postcards. I love them. I'll help you. Guide you through how to create one. But yeah, I love getting them. And people get so excited. I get emails like, you're never going to believe what happened. And I'm always like, yes, I will.
So could you explain a little bit about the how and why of the postcard, and then share with us where you come into it with people sending you the postcards, how you participate in the manifestation?
Sure. So easily, I do a step-by-step on my website. So if you go to postcardstotheuniverse.com, there's a how to create a manifesting postcard. And I talk about setting an intention and setting the space for creativity. So you want to set the space. You want to shut your phone off, shut off your notifications, tell everybody to leave you alone. If you live in a house with other people, you're in your creative space. And you can use candles, you can sage your space. So you're sort of like creating a ritual about like, I'm getting ready now. I'm like making magic, I'm manifesting. And you sit down and you can use magazines, or you can print out pictures. A lot of people use Pinterest, and they print out pictures from their Pinterest board and put it on their postcard. I have some artists who make amazing postcards. I have one, she painted on wood boards, which was so incredible, of her little manifestations that she wanted. So there can be any way you want. It's so open. And when your postcard is complete, you don't have to finish it in one sitting. It's sacred, it's yours. You take a picture of it, and you send it to me. And then when I get it, I keep them all in a special place. I have like a special place that's highly energized with crystals and all that stuff for these postcards. And I photograph them. And I intuitively photograph them. So I take the person's postcard and think about it and create a beautiful image around it. And that's how I help push it through to the universe. And every week on Mondays, I call it my Magic Monday message. And it's the affirmation that the person posted on their postcard, like I am healthy, or I am wealthy, or I am, I'm a best-selling author. That's the one that's coming out that I just posted yesterday. I'm a best-selling author, and I create an image around it. And it's an affirmation that I like to help focus on for the week. So I take the affirmation for the week and I focus on it, and I make it a new belief, and just kind of help set the intention for the person who created the postcard. And then, of course, I try to make it visually beautiful because I'm a photographer. So I try to, that's like my thing. And I love doing them. And then I don't share the person's personal information about the postcard unless they're going to be on my radio show or in a blog post or with their permission, or in the book with their permission, of course. Yeah.
That sounds absolutely amazing. And I can see how the energy comes together to as you said earlier, I think conspire to help you get what you want. Believe it or not, Melisa, we're close to the end of our time together.
Wow.
Is there a piece of parting guidance that you'd like to share with the audience?
Yes. Really focus on gratitude as much as you possibly can. That is a really powerful tool for manifesting. And I highly recommend, and I say it all the time, and it's not mine, I got it from Louise Hay, but do mirror work and look at yourself every day and be really conscious of saying kind things to yourself and telling yourself nice things. It's a very powerful. You don't realize how much we look in the mirror and we criticize ourselves, especially women. We're terrible. I mean, I know a lot of men do it too, though. So you're going to see your life change when you start to be kinder to yourself. So just, I always tell everybody to do that. And I'm offering also for whoever wants it, if they sign up for my newsletter, I have a 30-day gratitude practice, and it's using our camera phones and pictures for gratitude, and it's free. So for whoever wants it, yeah. All they have to do is just sign up for my newsletter, and they get the PDF in their inbox.
Sweet. Yeah. You've already shared your website address, but could you share once again how people can get in touch with you, find that newsletter, sign up, and all that other good stuff?
Yeah. So if you go to www.postcardstotheuniverse.com, that will take you to everything on my social medias, my Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and also my Own Times radio show is on Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern time. And I'm always interviewing people like being interviewed today, and we're talking about this kind of stuff. And my email's on there. You can reach out to me. I tell you how to make a manifesting postcard. And if you sign up for my newsletter, then you will get the free 30-day gratitude journey. Yeah.
All that information will be available on Melisa's show page. Just go to her show page on themiracleyou.com. All that information will be available for you. Melisa, thank you so much for joining us today, sharing the power of manifestation, the power of tapping into the universe by sending postcards.
It was so nice. Thank you, Vince, so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
We enjoyed you so much. On behalf of Mary, my business partner, and my wife, and the entire team here at Imagine Miracles, we want to wish you a miracle day.
You've completed this episode of The Miracle You, but we have plenty more to help you discover your own personal passion and purpose. Head over to themiracleyou.com for free resources to assist you on your journey, as well as register for our free webinar, Discover Your Miracle Life, 3 Mind Awakening Steps Toward Your Unique Purpose, or apply for a one-on-one Your Life, Your Way breakthrough session and discover your next best step on your journey. All available exclusively on our website. That's themiracleyou.com. We look forward to sharing more experiences of passion, purpose, and life by design next time, right here on The Miracle You.